1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We are on episode 72. And we are quite a ways into this at this point. We're already a third of the way through our second year of doing this podcast, if you think about it. It's 52 weeks in the year, and we're on week 20 of year 2.
My god. Better start planning our next anniversary, Kaiser.
Yeah, right? Episode 73, incidentally, next week, is going to be our Christmas episode, because when we record it, Christmas is like a week out, I think. Christmas is actually on a Saturday, so we're going to have one that releases on Christmas, and it will be a Christmas episode.
Yeah, where are you going to be on Christmas?
My parents'
place. No, I was going to say, save Christmas talk anyway for next week.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting it. On this episode, we talk about next episode.
Yeah.
No, we got a few interesting things for topics. One, I am so eager to talk about. I'm so eager to laugh about it, honestly. Yeah. Media. Blue's got a movie to talk about. I had a movie to talk about that I forgot about. But barring that, I've been playing Halo Infinite and getting into the story, so could talk about that for a little bit.
True.
And then, Blue, you've got a new game for us to play in segment 3.
Yes, more from my ever-deepening madness.
He says with a very crazy look on his face. Alright, without further ado, Blue, the Cowboy Bebop Netflix series has been cancelled after 1 season.
Fuck. Damn it. So much good content was there. Shit.
As I think it was on Thursday, Netflix announced that they were cancelling the series.
Fuck. Not gonna lie. And you'll see it when I eventually show you the clips of it, the series. But the last clip of the series, which was like showing you the engineer guy, girl, boy, whatever, was genuinely cringeworthy. Yeah. Just that last clip really fucking warning signs.
I'm looking forward to going through that exercise. But yep. I'm not surprised. Like, critics kind of were lukewarm about it. A lot of people seem to have just like watched an episode and then tuned out, or if they did watch the whole thing, they did it just to kind of go through it. Or, like in your case, you'd never seen the original, so
that's the thing. I think it was absolutely for people who are new to the Cowboy Bebop. I think it did a great job in bringing people to Cowboy Bebop, because people who've watched it and then people have been like, "This is shit. You should see the original." They've then gone and seen the original, and now they're like, holy crap, this is amazing. Because it's an old fucking anime right now, and it needed something to bring people back to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was late 90s, I want to say. But yeah, God. Anime's still an absolute classic. And it's something that I think that even people that don't really care for anime could enjoy.
Yeah. It's a good story. And, anyone that likes fiction, I think they can get on board with it.
Anyway, that's all it was. It was a quick topic, but I just wanted to get it out there right in front because I saw that this morning, literally while I was eating breakfast, and I'm like, oh, we got to talk about this. Because we spent the last 2 episodes banging on about Cowboy Bebop in the media section, and then it's gone.
Yeah, no, a full hour of it last week. So my topics, right. I'll start off with, as you know, a lot happens in my head when I'm on that bus, right?
Oh yeah, more bus stories, okay.
More bus stories from the busiverse. And a lot of content for the podcast actually comes while I'm sitting on the bus, because I'm sat there for an hour and there's fuck all to do, and so I'm just like, right, let's just think of something interesting to do or talk about.
Brainstorming time.
And I was like, if I had, whatever budget I wanted, and I'm not saying don't take advantage of the fact that you have an unlimited budget, and you could have whoever you wanted, what TV series would you produce? Try and be as creative as possible, and as something as different to what we've already got. What would you kind of go for? And I'll give you a second to think.
No, I've already got this story in mind.
Oh, you have? Alright, fucking shoot then.
Okay. So I've always been a huge fan of the setting and it's a setting that you don't see too often, but the sort of like, you know, have you ever seen the Battlestar Galactica series?
I haven't, but I know what it's about.
Okay. So essentially, it's, you know, you've got this tiny group of people, and they're kind of in this self-contained little group of ships, and it's just them trying to get by and get on the sort of like desert island setting, but not really a desert island setting. Like, they're not deserted; they're going for a place, but they're so completely isolated that their own little bubble of people becomes like the entire world.
Right. Okay. An isolated community.
Yeah, but not only maybe they go to different places. So there's series that have done this well, I think. Like Farscape's a good example. Not sort of. There's the anime Outlaw Star did a good job of this. Because I like that, like, you got a small crew on a ship and then you do dynamics amongst them. But anyway, there's actually a book that I tried to write. And I got a few chapters in before I dropped the concept because I wasn't kind of doing my own story justice. But do you know what the concept of a generation ship is?
So it's when you set off in a ship and you expect them to, like, have children, and those children will be the ones that actually arrive at the destination, kind of thing.
That, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was the premise of the story, was this giant, like, ship that had multiple tiers and environments inside of it, and it was the sort of midway through the journey. It was seeing how the society functioned on that ship, you know, the little interpolitics between the people,
so maybe, like, every season you'd have a big jump cut, and it'd be like the people who were young have grown up, maybe some people have died, and there are new people coming in.
And you can kind of see how the things that happened in the previous season, they're not directly influencing things that happen in the next season, but they're things that, you know, that echo into that season, into that next season. So that's if I could have designed a show, I'd want to make that show. I would want to take that premise that I started working on, and tried to make into a book and make that into a TV show.
Like a time lapse of a generation ship. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. So that's me.
I was thinking, as I was saying, a bit more down to earth. What I would want to see is the juxtaposition between where it's like the TV series is focused on, like, an assassin's agency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Except it's a comedy. So the assassins would be the agency was all about making things look like an accident, obviously, because, you know, being an assassin, you've got to kind of do things by the books so that it doesn't look like they haven't just been murdering people.
Yeah.
But then also, like, their clients have, like, certain requirements, should we say? Like in fucking the Dark Brotherhood in Elder Scrolls, where you can do a job any way you want, but if you do it in a certain way, you get a bit of extra payout, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, what would the first episode be? It'd be like, the dude walks into his office, he's like, I finished the job, and all very, like, noir kind of thing, right? And he's like, and the bonus condition, did you complete it? It's like, yes, sir. And it cuts to, like, a picture of a guy. This is going to be a bit morbid for people out there, I'm sorry. A guy who is, like, hanging by a Cuddle Me Elmo. Like, something like that.
Yeah,
where, like, the guy was, like, I don't know, undercut someone in a particular industry, and that was kind of like the big toy profit kind of thing. And so they use that against them. Or, I don't know, they set up the murder so it looks like the guy fucking stepped on some Lego bricks, fell off his balcony, and, like, fucking broke his neck or something.
Yeah.
Like, just really creative ways of doing... Oh, fuck. Okay, the last one I'll say. Like, it's a guy who owns, like, a brand of knives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the assassin gets there and he's like, okay, this is going to be fucking easy. I'm just going to grab one of his knives and shank him with it, right? Goes into the house. Turns out the guy's a knife collector. And the dude has no fucking idea which knife is the one that he actually, like, produces.
Yeah.
So he just ends up fucking putting, like, 50 knives in the guy, and he's just like, my job here is done. Walking out. I don't know, something like that. I like the idea of the very serious grittiness combined with the comedy aspect.
Yeah, there's a couple movies that have kind of come close to that concept, but none that have really... So I'm thinking like the Hitman video games. There's the bonus objectives in there for killing people
like
in
chandeliers and stuff,
in very creative ways. But that takes itself a little bit more seriously.
I thought you were going to say the Hitman film for a second there, and I was like, ooh, don't want to be associated with that.
No, I haven't seen that film. The video games. And the... Have you ever played the video... Actually, I'm just thinking of video games. I'm not thinking of movies at all. Have you played the video game No More Heroes?
I don't think I have.
All right.
Description.
It's this weird Japanese video game for the Wii. And...
Oh, well, then I definitely wouldn't have fucking played it.
I didn't play it either, but one of my roommates in college did.
Okay.
So here is the premise of the game. This guy, who's just a bit of a schlub and a nerd, gets a lightsaber.
A real one?
A real one.
Okay.
For some reason. I don't remember exactly how he gets it. And he decides, well, I have a real weapon now. I'm going to become an assassin.
Okay, yeah.
And it's just him going through these, like, progressively more difficult, like, anime boss fights against the League of Assassins so he can become the best assassin. And in between, he's, like, mowing lawns and stuff to make enough cash to earn ends meet while he goes and fights the assassin. It's such a goofy premise, but...
Yeah.
Right off the bat, when you said, like...
What shame you didn't, like, get given, like, a fucking spanner and be like, man, I got a spanner. I'm destined to be an engineer now, or a plumber. That was the series instead.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's. When you said comedy movie about assassins, that was the first thing I thought of. But you went in a very different direction than that one. You're actually like, I honestly, I'd love to see that because I feel like you could do some amazing like visual gags with the premise that you're making up. Like you go from. Well, like you said, the thing where they're giving the debrief and it cuts back to like how the body was left or what happened, like with the knives and stuff.
And the whole process and things. Like I don't know, if a guy has is an alcoholic or something, and the guy's trying to like fucking get him to drink too much, and the assassin's just sat across the table trying not to fucking pass out from drinking while they're like challenging the other guy. I don't know. I feel like there's so much. That's why specifically I said. TV series, not movie, because I think in a movie format it wouldn't work. I don't think.
Yeah, a movie format, I think it would probably get too rushed.
Yeah, and you couldn't really fit with each episode. You could try a new kind of fun take on it, as opposed to on a movie, you'd have to like cram maybe 3 into one.
Yeah, and it wouldn't
be as.
And this is something that. I can't remember. Somebody pointed this out to me like a year or two back. Maybe you actually. No, it was long ago than that. But it seems like all the really good like creative media is on TV these days. Like
really?
not
I think
TV,
it's on YouTube.
Not TV, but in an episodic format.
Oh yeah.
So when I say TV, I'm talking about like Netflix. I'm talking about Amazon Prime.
Not the cinema kind of thing.
Yeah. So like a cinematic movie in the classic like 1 to 3 hour format, and just watch it in one sitting. I think it doesn't have the time. Like people are actually like longer, more complicated, and interesting stories are becoming more appealing. I think for people overall, because you see that with the popularity of like some of Netflix original series, some of the Prime series, like The Expanse. The Expanse season 6 has just started. Episode 1 came out yesterday. Have you watched it?
No, but
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm expecting for the next like 10 episodes in a row of this to be the media segment. So on The Expanse this week.
Hey,
actually, no, it's probably going to be more like 2 weeks because you're just going to binge watch it. So
that's a, this reminds me. Almost exactly a year ago, there was a dedicated bingo square to talking about fucking Vikings again because I was binge watching the Vikings series, and so every week I was like, oh, I saw this on Vikings.
You went through rocky patches with that though, so you kind of stopped watching it and then you started watching it again, and yeah.
It had a very slow season that just annoyed me, but then it picked back up again. And then an event happened in the series, and I just dropped it altogether. And it's a historical event, so I should have seen it coming, but still, I haven't gotten back to the series since.
I see. Well, I also put the question out to the Kind Words community.
Oh, right. Wholesome game.
Yeah. So, got a few responses. I don't think any of them were as good as yours, to be honest, but
thank you.
We'll here we go. The way I phrased it was, fun question if you have the time. If you had the budget and the actors, what kind of TV series would you make? Be creative as possible. Have an awesome day. And they came back with, I would love to make a miniseries about the annals of the Western Shore. It's a fantasy trilogy by Ursula K. Le Guin, and I'd love to do it in a more Studio Ghibli style of animation. Have you heard of this trilogy?
I have not.
I have not either. So it's kind of
Annals of the Western Shore, was it called?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard of it.
But, who doesn't love Studio Ghibli? The series features magic, but is much slower and more introspective than a lot of other fantasies. I'd love to do an episode or 2 or 3 per book. Don't really know what they mean by that, but okay. I see, cut the book down into 3 episodes. I see.
Yeah.
I know this is... he talks about not knowing who to cast. But frankly, I don't know any actors either, and I would have no idea who I would cast. Someone else says, I would adapt some video games as TV series.
Because that always works.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Sorry,
that's exactly what... Yeah.
I think there's been exactly 2 good video game to TV adaptations.
Yeah, which ones are they?
I don't know, I can't think of them.
Okay. I mean, Transformers...
Are they?
But no, Transformers didn't start.
It went the other way
games,
around. Yeah, Transformers was a TV show that was adapted into a toy line in a video game.
Games, and then a couple of really good games. Anyway, they continue. Saw numerous debates how movies are too short to represent a long game plot, but TV series could be better. I do agree with that.
And that goes to what I just said. They do that. The Expanse is an example of this. It's a book series. And rather than make it one movie and try to shove it all together, they made it a longer, more drawn-out thing. And that's a good point. Maybe that's why video game movies have failed, is they try to shove too much into a short time period.
I'm sure you remember the Assassin's Creed movie. Have you seen that?
I remember that it exists. I have not seen it.
Yeah. I feel like they skipped over so many... finer points that I think if it was a TV series they just take a little bit more time over it, I think it would have been excellent, but it kind of just went and passed.
They've turned video games into anime before. There's a really good PlayStation game I remember from back in the day, PlayStation 2 game, Zone of the Enders, and
Never heard of it.
It's real space mech game.
Right.
And it was an amazing game because you could... Well, I found it to be amazing because it was one of the first of the time. You played this, hovering, big, giant robot thing, right? And the combat in it was crazy because it was fully three-dimensional and you got a ton of mobility. So you could be dashing all over the place. You're upside down, right side up, spinning around people, flipping over them. You got all these cool weapons to use. Tons of fun. And they made an anime out of it. And the anime wasn't amazing, but it was good.
I see.
So maybe that's... Anyway, go on. Next
Sorry, I
answer.
thought you'd finished. Well, no, he continues. I would totally watch a series based on Homeworld. And in brackets, Deserts of Karak had a movie made out of cutscenes. I do not know what these things are. But
Homeworld, I think I've played. I might have that in my Steam library.
Bioshock Infinite. Fantastic world, they say. I agree, I think that could be really cool. But the CG budget would be fucking astronomical.
It really would. I do have Homeworld. I haven't played... Apparently I didn't like it very much because I've only played a half hour of it.
I see.
I think
do you want to give a quick breakdown of Bioshock Infinite for the themes of that?
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, the Bioshock games in general have kind of a 1920s Art Deco kind of appeal to them. The Bioshock Infinite series is about a sort of like a steampunk breakaway society that go off and they build this flying city called, I want to say it was called Columbia or something like that.
Yeah, New Columbia, I think it was.
Yeah, and so it flies up into the sky, and they sort of worship the founding fathers of the U.S. as like the they're basically the founding of the United States purists kind of people, and so they've got this big society up in the clouds, and you go up there at some point. You're somebody from like down on the ground. You go up there trying to find someone. You're investigating something. You're kind of like a private detective or something like that. Anyway, you have some mark on your hand, and they notice it, and everyone immediately becomes hostile because that marks you as some kind of a evil person in their eyes or something. And then the whole rest of the game is you having swashbuckling adventures using zip lines to fly around the city, discover what the mystery is, and save this, mysterious girl who's being hunted as well on the island.
There's also heavy undertones of politics, which could be... It's something that isn't required for you to enjoy the game, but if you want to delve deeper into the game, it has a very deep lore pit.
Yes. So I kind of glossed over it because it's just topics, but
yeah,
the game world is very well developed. There's a lot of background information on who these people are, why the city is where it is, what the founders like, what made them decide to break away and go off into the clouds, who this girl is, who you are, why everyone is hostile towards you. There's a lot of it's probably the first Bioshock game that I beat the whole way through. Bioshock 1 and 2, they're set kind of under the water, and kind of the creepy nightmare aesthetic was not my thing. I much more liked the zip around the clouds on a zipline kind of feel.
It's a lot more bright. It's a different kind of horror. Yeah. Anyway, they continue. Other suggestions they have were like Life is Strange, and they say it is closer to TV series than a video game already, and I totally agree with that. It's a decision-based game where basically you don't have any control of the character aside from left or right.
I know they have like 3 Life is Strange games now. I've only played the first one, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, I only have seen the first one. Deus Ex Human Revolution. Is that the third one?
No, that's the second one. No,
the second one is the good one, right? I'm pretty sure it is.
So technically, it's in order. There's Deus Ex Invisible War, Deus Ex Human Revolution, Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Those are the 4. No one remembers Invisible War because it like was, I don't know. I've beaten that game, and it's not bad, but it's kind of uneventful compared to the others.
I think I've really enjoyed Human Revolution, but I don't think it would translate well into a TV series. It's just kind of permanently depressing.
If I wanted to, I would argue, do the first Deus Ex as a movie. That one was a lot better.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And they say atmospheric text games like Sunless Sea or VA11 Hall A. I don't know what they are.
I know what Sunless Sea is.
Sunless Sea is, that's the... It's like on a ship, isn't it?
Yeah, you have a ship and you're in the Untersee, which is this weird... And London's down there for some reason, and you sail around, and there are like Lovecraftian horrors and things that you have to navigate your crew through to do jobs.
To be fair, you know me, anything that has like Lovecraftian horror I would watch, so I mean, yeah they got a point. Then they just finished their letter with game plots are often engineered better than movie plots. And
I think that might not be fair, because it's a media that you digest in a different way. So I always find myself much more engaged with a game's plot, much more invested in it, because I'm the one in the plot. Like, I'm actually interacting with the game, and so I always find myself getting a lot more engaged in those stories than I do. Like, it takes a lot more for a TV show to get me invested than it does for a game. Like, a game can have a fairly mediocre plot, but because I'm playing it, I can get into it, you know?
I think they kind of are at a bit of a parallel in that there are games where there is literally no plot. And at the same time, there are movies with absolutely shit plots. And vice versa, there's games with amazing plots and there's movies with amazing plots. So it's kind of hard to... You can't really say one's better than the other. It's just down to the studio that makes them.
And I'm not saying...
Yeah.
I'm saying comparing apples to apples. You have a movie with a mediocre plot and a game with a mediocre plot. I know myself, I'm going to get a lot more invested in the game because I'm engaging with it. Even though they both have a mediocre plot, the mediocre plot that I am actually involved in and playing in, I'm going to enjoy more and be more invested in. But that's me. Some people get more invested in movies.
I think it comes back to the whole horror thing that we keep talking about. I think I'd probably get more invested in TV shows and movies than I do in games. And that's probably why I'm less freaked out when things go wrong in a game.
Yeah. We've said this multiple times. We've tried playing through a few horror games on the YouTube channel and trading off, in particular, playing them. And my thing is, I can watch a horror movie, horror TV show, read a horror book. It doesn't really bother me or affect me. But horror video games, like, actually really freak me out. And I think it comes down to the fact that I'm playing them. I feel much more involved in that case. And Blue, it's the opposite.
Yep. But anyway, next person. I'll fly through them a bit fast now. I've always thought a cool TV series would be The Hunger Games, but each episode/few episodes is a different year, starting with the first ever Hunger Games and then going on from there. I've no idea who I'd cast, though. Yeah. Kind of like your Generation Ship.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. Like, it's a similar premise. You're going through in this case, you're going through a history... Well, I guess both of them are going through the history of a society.
Yeah, almost like a civilization's history.
Yeah.
You're kind of jumping in every 10, every 50 years, whatever, and then seeing how it started and then how it eventually fell.
That'd be
very interesting.
There's a game that I have been meaning to play. I have it sitting on my shelf, and I've had it sitting on my shelf for 5 years now, and I still haven't played it. The series is called History of the Agarast War, or something like that. Each game is called something different, but the premise of the game, each game takes place over the course of multiple generations, and so in each chapter you're playing as the descendants of the character you played in the previous chapter. And depending on what your character did in that previous chapter, it affects the character after that. It's a JRPG, and it's a very long game, which is why I've never gotten around to actually finishing it. But I've heard good things, and I want to play it. But just thinking about the same concept, where you're going through a generational story.
And the last letter I have is, I'd love to make a zombie apocalypse style show based off of a comic that I draw. It features a scientist, and in the beginning she hides out in a treehouse she builds to stay safe from the zombies. She spends time trying to make robots and other things like that. There's one project she works on, and eventually it does work, and the robot isn't sentient, but she makes him act like a friend so she has someone to talk to in the lonely times. Eventually she trusts the wrong people, and her treehouse gets burnt down, and she has to find another place. Interesting concept. There's a lot of different genres there. The zombies and the robots.
I don't know. It depends on how you do it. One thing that I've noticed is you can have a completely ludicrous and ridiculous setting if you're telling a story about people. As long as the core of the story is relatable, and then I think you can probably tell a story in whatever ridiculous setting that you want to.
Yeah, I'm what I think is throwing me is the treehouse bit, because I'm like, so I think of a treehouse, I think of like one in the backyard of someone's house, right?
So do I, yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, is this going to be like a child's one? But it's zombies, but maybe the zombies are like Plants vs Zombies, where they're like not actually very scary. Or is it going to be like a fucking, Avatar giant fucking tree where they have like a space base essentially built into the side of this massive tree, and eventually some rioters burn it down or something?
I'm just thinking here. That's. Do you remember the beginning of the Walking Dead Telltale Games series, the one with Clementine?
With Clementine in the treehouse.
Clementine in the treehouse. That's where Lee meets her right in the beginning of the series.
Yeah.
It's what I thought about, like, right there.
Yeah.
It depends on how, like, I think it depends on the talent of the writing staff behind that concept, because you could tell a story about somebody who's alone and isolated just in their treehouse like that, trying to get by, and then that could be a major plot point where, they lose the treehouse and it was their one safe place, their one little bubble of their own space. You could tell a very compelling story in that with that concept, but you'd have to you got to make sure that you're not a hack writer.
And then the whole robot thing being is something that you make. Can you make it? Can you form a connection with something that isn't technically alive, kind of thing?
Something that Detroit Become Human tried to do as a plot and fucked up horribly.
Pretty bad. Actually, I say that I've heard people say good things about it, and I've heard other people say bad things about it. So
it depends on how much you like melodrama.
Yeah, I know you weren't a massive fan.
No, there were some characters I liked. I really liked playing the lead investigator. So quickly,
the detective.
Yeah, Detroit Become Human is a video game, a very cinematic video game where you follow. It's in the future. They're humanoid androids. Some of them are treated well. Some of them are treated like property, but they're machines, so who cares? And you follow the plot line of three people. A maid android who is owned by this out of work, depressed drug addict guy and his daughter. Please run away. And you also play as the...
Yep.
What am I trying to say? Yeah.
Yep.
A lead investigator android who is out there to try and deal with androids that have either run away, malfunctioned, or whatever. And so he's on loan to the police. He's my favorite one to play. That guy's awesome. Because I think it's Clancy Jones? He teams up with this old grizzled detective, and their chapters and their fucking budding bromance is probably the best thing about that game. And then you play as this android that's owned by this old artist who has a deadbeat son. And he's honestly the least interesting. And you're back just in time.
That's what I come back to. Just call me the least interesting. I see how it is.
No, I was talking about
the moment I leave and it's spreading propaganda about yourself.
I was talking about the artsy android who by the end of the game, I hated him so much that not just him, I just hated his plotline. That there was a big riot that was going on, and you had to do a bunch of QuickTime events to make sure he didn't die. I put down the controller and went out to the kitchen to make a snack. And when I got back, he was dead, and I didn't have to play as him again. It was amazing.
There's one other tiny topic I had that I just want to fly through. I know
we're over, but we got a couple minutes. Throw it in there.
Have you heard of a game called Monster Hunter Stories?
No.
It's a Monster Hunter game that is an anime.
Aren't they all?
No.
Oh, I'm thinking of the anime Monster Hunter from the 90s.
No.
There was
Monster
an anime and video game from the 90s called Monster Hunter. But you're talking about the Monster Hunter World series.
Yes.
Game. Okay.
So Monster Hunter is like a realistic looking um, game where you kind of play as like a kind of tribal dude, and you fight like these dragons and dinosaurs and mythical monsters.
And then you turn their body parts into weapons and armor.
Exactly. Or cute accessories for your pet cat.
Yeah.
And this game, takes it and makes it completely anime. It's kind of like...
It's so weird because before I even knew about these games, I watched the Monster Hunter anime from the from the 90s, and I played the Monster Hunter video game for the PlayStation, where you got new monsters by putting CDs in your PlayStation, musical CDs,
right.
and it would just randomly generate a monster for you.
I see.
Anyway, sorry.
It's quite a difficult, quite an intense learning curve game. This anime one fucking throws the book out the window. The combat is no longer like running around swinging at this thing's fucking legs. It is now turn-based, and you have like allies with you who basically do far more damage than you can ever possibly do anyway. So there's literally kind of no point in you playing because your ally does more damage than you.
So,
go on.
I'm looking at images of it, and it does look.
Yeah.
It is very anime, but I can kind of see
is.
how it fits. Also, I'm thinking of the anime Monster Rancher.
Right. Okay.
It was called Monster Rancher.
Okay. And yeah, so the combat's completely different. You don't actually... You're put in the game, and it's like there's these monster riders and there's the monster hunters, right? And you're a monster rider.
Okay.
So you're not even a monster hunter. And the difference between monster hunters and monster riders is that a monster hunter will go out there, it'll kill the beast, will salvage its body, and fuck off back to the camp. Monster rider will do exactly the same thing, except they'll steal one of the creature's eggs first, so that they can get its baby to fight alongside you and you can ride on it. Which is cool, don't get me wrong. But I didn't need that separation, and especially if you're going to call the game Monster Hunter and then not be a monster hunter. And in fact, they make the monster hunters kind of the villains in the game.
This would be like if they made a Pokemon game where it's called like Pokemon Saffron or something like that, and you just play as Brock trying to chase women instead of actually...
I thought you were going to say play as Team Rocket, which would also apply.
That would be fun. I'd love to do that. Just fucking steal people's Pokemon all game.
But yeah, like... I don't know. It's not Monster Hunter in the classical sense. It's a great game for kids, I have no doubt, because it's also turn-based, so you don't have to... you can really fucking take your time to think about what you're doing. It works on a rock, paper, scissors based combat style. One thing beats another, that thing beats another thing, and then that beats the first thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's
not a fan.
I only played the demo because I'm cheap. And it's on the Switch. It's like £50, so the average Switch price.
Yeah.
That's like $65.
Yeah, it's every Switch game in the US is $60.
Right, there you go. And yeah, so I got the end of the demo.
Mm.
And you know how you get the end of the story of something, and then you go back and you play the side quests, right? So I finished the game. I was like, fuck, hell yeah. Saved the game, came back to it the next day, right? Loaded the game, and it just came up with the thanks for playing the demo. Boots me back to the main screen. Meaning, it doesn't actually let you, which really fucking annoyed me at the time, go back, and because I was like skipping past all the side chicks, I was like, I'll do that later. I had to load it. Fortunately, there was an autosave that was just before I'd finished the game, which meant I could keep the fucking save file, basically.
Yeah.
And also, weirdly, in the demo, they limit you to a single save slot.
I mean, all of these things make sense because they want you to play the game and get a taste for it, but they don't want you to be able to do too much with the demo.
Oh, well, the only things I had actually left to do was do some... The side quests for this were like... pick up 5 toadstools and get a herbivore egg, which I hadn't even realised you could get the herbivore eggs until after I'd completed the demo. And I kind of got the egg and I was like, oh, okay. It's just a shitter version of the carnivores, which you get naturally. Yeah, I wasn't very impressed with it. Not gonna lie. Very much too easy. Especially for a Monster Hunter game. Didn't look all that great. And I do kind of like anime-looking games. This was not
your thing.
No,
Yeah.
It just wasn't.
All right.
Quite repetitive as well.
Well,
yeah, sorry, that was all my spiel for that.
maybe I'll check out the demo for a video. But all right. Well, we're already over, so let's move on to media. This is going to be the end of segment 1 of the TMCJ podcast. Thank you all for listening, and you will hear us again momentarily for segment 2. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We are on segment 2, our media segment, and no movie night this week. But Blue's been watching a movie with Alicia. I was watching a TV show when I was over in France that I've actually started to really enjoy. And Blue did finish Squid Game. It's something we didn't get to last week because we were going over the entirety of the rest of Cowboy Bebop and watching my soul slowly leave my body. But yeah, so let's start off with that. We'll go over, we need closure. We talked about Squid Game for a few episodes. We need to know our thoughts on the ending. So
I think the last time we talked about it, we were at the marbles?
It was the marble episode, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what was the challenge after that?
The challenge after the marble episode is where they're hopping across the glass.
Okay, it is that one. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So...
But the big plot reveal is when they get back from the marble episode. The annoying chick's still alive.
Oh yeah, I fucking saw that.
You saw it coming, but I was doing my best to keep my poker face on when you were describing it.
Yeah, no, you did good. I didn't get any clues from you. I just kind of fucking guessed it out myself. Yeah, no big surprise. The people in the Hotline Miami masks were there. Yeah,
the people they just got like 5
just
ostensibly
fat businessmen.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you guys can sort of speak English. Go for it. Sounds sleazy.
Yeah, and then the one token Asian guy who's incredibly intelligent and not saying anything, and like all the other dumbasses in the room. And then the fucking weird rapey dude who always gets his head blown off, and honestly he should have done.
I loved how badly you could tell some of those English parts were written by somebody who had a token understanding of, you know, some innuendo and stuff in English, but not enough to like properly direct the people speaking in English.
Right.
Because their dialogue comes off as very forced and awkward in a lot of cases. Like when the fat rapey guy is like, oh, I'm gonna choose this guy because he's number 69.
I think that was just a bad joke, honestly.
But that's what I mean. Is the writing was done by someone with enough understanding of English innuendo to kind of get that, but not enough to not make it awkward.
I see. But yeah, I want to know what childhood playground game, because they have all been based on childhood playground games so far, involved jumping over potentially hazardous glass panes.
I don't know, I was thinking maybe like hopscotch, floor is lava, something like that.
The only way I think of that is from Takeshi's Castle, and that is definitely not for children. Hopscotch, no, because you're not avoiding. The point of hopscotch isn't to avoid the fucking one of the panes. I felt like they ran out of ideas for this, is what I'm saying.
So, at least I don't know if this is just a variety I played when I was a kid, but you would throw a rock and it would land on one of the things, and you had to avoid that thing when you were hopping.
I guess, but that's still kind of not the game.
I
Like, all
agree.
the other games were very strongly...
I don't think there's a strong analog for this.
No.
They just...
Actually,
Yeah.
they might as well
They
have
needed
done...
they needed a way to kill off a lot of people really fast, I think is what it comes down to.
Yeah, in a dramatic way. I would have personally... You know, in the playground where you get, like, the 2 skipping ropes, and
Oh, yeah.
across from 2 people, and then you do the... Except one guy, like, trips up, or, like, the ropes are made of, like, blades or something, and just fucking dice a guy. Or, like, someone trips up and then just immediately gets fucking bazookaed from the roof. I don't know.
I should
That would've
describe
been more fun.
the game that they're playing in this round is there are 2 rows of glass separated by a gap, and then just a giant pit below them where you fall to your death. And one of the panes of glass is this tempered heavy-duty glass that can support like 500 pounds, and the other one is just normal glass, so you step on it, you crash through, and you die. And they all had to pick vests that decided what order they went in, and so the people who go first are fucked because they have to make like a 1 in a billion like chance choice to get across. The ones at the end are fucked because if the people in front of them are too slow, they're not going to make it to the other end in time. Anyway, the game goes about as well as you'd expect.
Yeah, I think I felt personally, I felt it was the weakest of the games.
I agree with that.
And yes, I'm just gonna push past that. Only 3 people got out the other end, and they were all main characters. They were main character himself.
Mm-hmm.
There was the girl who...
North Korean defector girl.
Yeah, and there was asshole friend.
Yeah, childhood friend that's also a businessman who's also in debt and also a little sleazy.
Yeah, I was waiting for for that bit at the end. Then they get served a very nice banquet meal, and they're all given knives, and it's quite obvious that they're meant to stab each other. The girl actually gets hit by a shard of glass in the end of the game we were just talking about, and so she's already bleeding out.
Yeah.
So the assholey friend goes and slits her throat when the good guy is not watching.
Yeah, he goes to try and like beg for medical attention for her, and then the door opens but they walk through with a coffin, and he turns around to have seen like his friend standing over her body with throat cut.
Yeah.
So.
Which honestly, I would love to have seen the camera angle of the guy like tiptoeing across the hallway while the guy was banging on the door with his knife out. Because it was a long way.
True. I mean, but that would have been funny. The way they did it was more dramatic, which I think is what they were going for.
And so there's 2 people, and then they do the final the Squid game itself.
Yeah, the titular Squid game.
Yeah. Because they explained the rules of it in the very first episode. So we all knew it was coming, but... And
appropriately, it happens in the middle of a giant rainstorm while the rich people look down from on high.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of poetic injustice. The good guys kind of like just dominating the asshole who's normally super fucking smart but isn't for this one apparently, and he gives them like chances, and he doesn't want to kill the guy even though he's an asshole, and then the asshole's like, I'm such an asshole, and stabs himself.
Yeah.
Which is just a fucking relief.
See, what I took away from that is that the main character, like, he's never really been determined up until this point. Like, the asshole friend has been trying his hardest to make it to the end and win, and has been ruthless about it. Whereas the main character has still been trying to be that kind of easygoing friend to a lot of people. Like, he tries, but he's never really done it with, like, grit and seriousness until the end here, and then he just... The friend isn't used to him being that determined, and he catches him off guard. That's how I took that final scene. But you're right,
I think my biggest problem was that the only characters I gave a shit about were the Indian dude, the girl after the marbles game, and to a certain aspect, the old man, but we'll talk about him in a minute.
Yeah.
And they were already dead, and so dead, and so like there was, I don't know, I didn't really like it that much. I thought it was over very quickly as well. And
I don't know. I enjoyed it, but I also liked that friend character a lot more than you did, because I'm a fan of a good antagonist, because he did some horrible things, and he's definitely, unforgivable things. But they gave his character enough gray area and enough things that I was able to empathize with him enough that it made him a good antagonist. Like, the best antagonists are the people you can kind of see a bit of, like they're not just pure evil. Like, he's not just...
After the Marble game, I just saw him as scum.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm taking it all in context, because in context, like, he's known this guy for, a couple weeks? But if he loses this game, not only does he die, but his entire family is ruined. His mother's going to be caught carrying all of this debt that he has. She's going to lose her home. So, yes, he does horrible, scummy things, but you can still, sort of see, how he's justifying it to himself. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying I would do it. But there's enough, there for me to see him as a human character rather than just a pure scumbag.
Yeah. Anyway, so the main character is the last survivor. He gets gassed and thrown out of a limo on just a side street, and a crazy fucking fanatic of Christ, I guess.
Yeah, and
kind of just leaning over him.
They just give him a debit card with all the cash on it, and it's like anyone could just steal that from right next to him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do literally come back to him and say, "You haven't used your card. Do you want a new one?" So I guess that he could have, in theory, gotten a new card.
Yeah.
But yeah, he doesn't use any of the money that he got. He finds the girl's younger brother, and sends him to live with the asshole friend's mother.
He also finds out that his mother is dead and died while he was stuck inside there.
Yeah. But saw that fucking coming.
He also does give asshole brother's mother a whole fuckload of cash, which I thought was good, because she was kind of an innocent victim and everything.
Yeah, no, she was... Yeah, that's fair. And yeah, so he spends a whole bunch of, years just...
bumming around. I guess
making his own money and just living off what comes to hand. And...
he also dyes his hair like a lesbian.
Yeah... No, that's afterwards. That's after the...
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, I'm skipping ahead.
So the bank manager calls him in, and he's like, "You haven't spent any of the money. Do you want me to move it around or something?" I can't remember. It was a
he's basically he's offering to do financial planning, invest it into the market, that sort of thing. Because typically you don't just sit on $1 million in cash.
And he's just like, "Nah, I'm good." Goes off and buys a beer, sits on the beach, and then finds out that the old man who's in the Squid Game with him is still alive and in a building nearby. So he goes to the building, finds the old man on life support. He's about to die.
In the most baller hospital room ever. It is the entire floor of a skyscraper that has just been completely cleared out, and he just has one bed in the corner with a grandfather clock and a life support machine, and he's just looking out the window. It's
a bit tropey.
It is. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was like the classic villain's lair, where he's just just to prove a point, I own this entire floor, but I don't own any furniture.
Yeah. Do you want to do the... I can't even be asked to describe the last scenes
Okay.
because they were so fucking dull.
Yeah, this is my kind of where I was starting to lose interest. I was kind of just I watched the series for the games, but so he goes up and he talks to the old man. The old man reveals that he is, he's made his fortune by lending money to like desperate people and stuff. He's basically a loan shark. And he, as a result, he's kind of become part of this society with all of these super rich people that are just looking for thrills. And so they have these games all throughout the world, and they go to them and whatever. And he's in charge of the one in Korea. And then this year, because he realized he was going to die, he actually did have a terminal diagnosis. He wanted to play in the game himself. Like he's like, and then that's why he didn't join the other rich old people when they were watching near the end, because once he had experienced the thrill of actually playing the games, he felt alive again. He felt like he was a child again playing these games. And so he couldn't go back and do that. And then he has this very like morbid philosophy that no one will ever help anyone else. And he's a very cynical outlook on life. And so he makes like one final bet with the main character. There's this like drunk homeless guy on the street and it's snowing. And he makes a bet that before midnight, no one's going to help that guy, and the guy will freeze to death. And I can't remember what exactly they bet, but
so the old man bet that. I can't remember what the old man wanted, but the other guy was like, "If I'm right, I'm gonna fucking kill you."
Yeah, and what happens is it hits midnight, and just before midnight, this woman who walked by had gone off to get a police officer and come back and help the guy, and the old man like literally just dies at midnight, and the main character's like getting angry at him. It's like, you saw that I won, right? You saw that I was right. And it's kind of left ambiguous if he actually did. Then he goes and dyes his hair bright red for some reason. He goes to a hairdresser and sees a woman's haircut with bright red hair on the wall. It's like, make me look like that.
Yeah.
He looks hilarious after that. And then it cuts to him like in a nice suit, and he's getting on a plane to go see his daughter, and he's getting his life back together. And he happens to see somebody else playing the same game, the slapping game that he played in the very beginning, that got him into the Squid Game to begin with, and he realizes, oh god, this stuff is still going on. And then, instead of doing the intelligent thing, which would be to just enjoy the rest of your life, go off, be a father to your daughter like you promised you would when you got out of here, and keep doing good works and make the world a better place. No, he decides he's going to go back and take on the Squid Game people.
To be fair, though, that has nothing to do with the story. That is only to do with the fact that Netflix wants another series of it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I hated that ending. I absolutely... Because what he should have done is got on that plane and done everything he could to live a good life and put, like, make the world a better place in his own way. You don't have to be a vigilante and go off and... I don't know. Yeah. I hated the ending.
Yeah, it wasn't a great ending. But at the end of the day, everyone just watched the show for the games because it was shocking and interesting.
The games were a lot of fun. The dynamic between the characters, like who was going to betray who, where the alliances were going to go, how the game... I loved all of that.
Although, tell me one single game, aside from the marble game, where if the old man had failed, how could he have survived it?
So, I've actually seen a couple theories about this floating around online.
Okay.
There are hints that he's not actually a player in some of the earlier episodes.
Oh, yeah. I called it from the very first, fucking episode that you see him.
When I say hints, like, that episode you're talking about, not the fact that he's happy, that when you see it from the robot's eyes and it's targeting people...
He doesn't have a square.
It doesn't target him at all.
Okay.
So even, because even the standing still people, it'll target them and just check if they're moving, but he doesn't even get highlighted.
Right. Okay, how does he get away with the honeycomb?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I guess they could fire a blank into him, but then there'd be no blood. Okay, I guess that would work. the tug of war, straight up death. No way that they can save him on that.
Very true. Yeah. But I think that's kind of implied in his speech at the end. Like, there was still a chance he could die. Like, because he had a terminal diagnosis, and he talked about having the thrill of playing the games again. So I think it's implied that there was a risk of him dying, but he had advantages that the others didn't.
And which I also think is really fucking hypocritical, because they murdered the doctor for having even, the slightest
that's
clue.
True. That is very true.
Like, one thing we will guarantee you is that everything is fair.
Except for the old man. He gets to cheat.
Yeah. And yeah, again, with the stepping stones one, if he stepped on the wrong one, he's fucked. I mean, maybe they would have shown him which the right path was.
Yeah,
but I doubt he would. He must have a very fucking good. Because it was 20 sheets of pain between the start and the end.
Yeah, but I think he wouldn't have been participating at that point. I think, it's kind of contrived. Like, he probably would have found a way to slip out before that
Die
game.
in the marble one every time.
Yeah.
I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I will watch the second season when it comes out. I just hope I really hope they do a good job with it.
Yeah, because if they're going to, contrive and force a second season, hopefully it'll be good. It'll be hard to capture that same kind of mystery and magic. Because really what I want to see is I want to see more games and more characters all, going through that same sort of dynamic.
Also, the detectives' work just all went to shit.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. Yeah, the detective's brother is apparently frontman, and he shoots him in the face or the shoulder, and he falls off a cliff. I don't know.
Ambiguously, but we assume he's dead.
The detective subplot was so boring and uninteresting for me.
I don't know. I didn't find it boring. Nothing changed. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, what your series?
The series I watched is called Counterpart. Counterpart. It's on Amazon Prime. I don't know if it's a Prime series or if Amazon just has the rights for it right now. What's the guy's name? The guy that plays J. Jonah Jameson in the original Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
I think his last name is Simmons.
Pictures of Spider-Man.
J.K. Simmons. I want Spider-Man's ass in my ass. I can't do his voice. He's got that gritty,
You want Spider-Man's ass on your desk? My goodness.
Yeah, I can't remember what he said. He has a bunch of lines about how he wants him taken down and.
Yeah. And then that classic laugh meme.
Yeah, just the
gif.
You serious?
Yeah.
But anyway, him. He's the main character in this series. It's set in Amsterdam. And, interesting. And it's a plot about, during the Cold War, this secret project accidentally caused a opening between two parallel dimensions. And from that point, the two timelines start to diverge.
An opening, yep.
And there's not like that. There's he's making a hand motion. I'll leave that up to your imagination.
That's because you were doing that hand motion. That's all I'm saying.
I was doing a completely innocent hand motion. You made it dirty. Anyway, there was the show. It's less about the sci-fi around how this portal works, and more about how they've maintained diplomatic relationships between the two sides. And there's a whole they've got diplomats coming from one dimension to the other because they've diverged, the sides have different technology. So one side is better with medicine, and so they'll give medical technology, but then the other side is better with some forms of engineering, and so they send that stuff over there. And it's basically it's almost a Cold War between the two. There's also spy games where they've got, people going over there to run interference and spy on the other side. And the main character, he is just a low-level tech there. He doesn't know that it's a different dimension thing. He knows that his job, he's there to receive messages. He goes into a room, the room is locked, and he has a code list. And there's a guy on the other side of the glass that comes in with a code list. And they say some passphrases to each other, they check some certain boxes, put the codes into a sealed envelope, and then they can't talk to each other other than that. They leave the room, submit it, then some other people analyze it and get what they actually say. He's been at this job for like 29 years, and he's looking to get promoted. Can't happen. Because he's looking to
How can you get promoted from writing down random words on a piece of paper that you don't understand?
The same way you get promoted in every government job. Nepotism.
Okay.
So they go through and at some point when like he gets called in by his boss and into like an emergency meeting, and they're like, we need you to be in a... So he's in this dark like back room, interrogation room. A guy gets led in with a bag over his head, and they take the bag off, and it's him. It's the other him from the other dimension.
Yeah.
And it's revealed that other him is actually like one of the spies from the other dimension. Like he's one of the intelligence operatives, so he's significantly more competent than the one on this side.
Yeah.
And so the two of them, the plot is them trying to unravel this mystery. So from the perspective of the guy in our dimension, who was just like a low-level operator, like he didn't know any of this shit was going on. It's him slowly beginning to understand this whole world of like the politics between the two dimensions. He finds out that there's like an assassin coming over from that dimension who's trying to kill someone in our dimension, and they have a personal connection to him, and he knows nothing about it. And the other one from his side is still keeping secrets, and he like it's not clear why he's needing to interact with his other self. And it's just
shenanigans ensue.
Yeah, the sci-fi, it's not like hard sci-fi. Like there's the other dimension thing is just a background plot point, really. The real meat of the series is it's almost like Cold War politics and spy games. Like that's the core of the plot, and it's really I'm really enjoying it, and it's just really fun to watch.
Nice. And that's a TV series, right?
Yeah. I'm on episode 4 or 5 right now.
I see. Sounds interesting. Yeah, we got a bit of time left.
Yeah, we got time. We got time for your movie.
We watched Pirates of the Caribbean 2, Dead Man's Chest.
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Yeah, first Squiddy Boy movie. What's the word I'm looking for? Davy Jones.
Yeah. Davy Jones Locker.
Yeah, I think we also watched it because we were watching it on Disney Plus. I think they have the extended version because there were scenes that I didn't remember happening. Like the wedding between the main female character and the guy equivalent character, Will Turner. And
Will Turner and
Elizabeth. Yeah. That was happened at the beginning of the film. I didn't remember that happening previously. But yeah, they were getting married and then they get arrested and it's raining and miserable.
I don't remember practically anything that happens in the second movie.
You will do when I briefly brush over it. The Cannibal Island.
Don't remember that one.
Where Jack's made the chief and...
Okay, yep, I remember that.
They want to eat him. Yep. Jack sends Will over to be like, oh, and when you meet Davy Jones, just so you know, fulfilling the debt from Captain Jack Sparrow, and it's actually just like putting him deeper in the shitter.
Yeah. The debt is him turning him over, yeah.
Yeah. But then Davy Jones is like, fuck you, you owe me 100 souls, this is one. Bring me 99 more souls in the next 3 days. Will's father is part of Davy Jones' crew, Bootstrap Bill.
Yeah, right, because in the first movie they talk about how they tied him to things and threw him over the water.
I don't know if they say that in the first one. I don't even know if they say that in the second one.
They say it in the first. In the first movie, they talk about how they can't cure the curse because Bootstrap Bill. The joke they make is they tied some weight to Bootstrap's bootstraps and then threw him overboard.
Yeah. They talk about him being thrown overboard and him like being on the bottom of the ocean briefly before he died and having to... Anyway, but they didn't talk about the bootstraps thing. So everyone is after Davy Jones's heart. There's a lot of crap. There's the Commodore who was chasing Jack Sparrow but got destroyed by like a tornado, but he survived, but he's like a piece of shit now that's been fired from the Navy. So he joins Jack's crew. They make it to the island with the heart chest on. Will Smith steals the key for Will Smith.
Will Turner.
You ain't never seen a pirate like me.
I'm just... That's Robin Williams. Oh, wait. No, right. There's... Will Smith is the genie in the new one. I haven't seen that one yet. These movies, they're all merging together.
Yeah, so he has the key. So they all turn up on the island at the same time, and they get the chest. They have that weird fight scene on the water wheel that was on like every advert at the time.
I remember that scene and how fucking stupid I thought it was when I saw that in the theater.
Yep. They're fighting over the chest. The ex-Commodore asshole guy manages to get the heart and escape without anyone noticing. David Jones chases Jack. Jack realizes he doesn't actually have the heart, even though he thought he did. And he has his jar of dirt, of course. I've got a jar of dirt. Do you not remember that?
Nope.
Oh, it's great. He's like flaunting the fact he has a jar of dirt to Davy Jones, but he doesn't actually have the heart in it. He doesn't realise. Captain Jack's Black Pearl outpaces the Flying Dutchman because it has the wind on its side. And
it ends on a cliffhanger, doesn't it? Sort of?
Yes. So Davy Jones is not catching up to them, so he's like, alright, fuck it, we're firing the Kraken at them. They launch the Kraken. Everyone on the Black Pearl's like, oh fuck, the Kraken's coming. We have to... Oh no, they fight the Kraken briefly, they blow off a bunch of its tentacles, but every like 10 seconds it has HP regen, so it just keeps coming back.
Yeah.
They do a lot of damage, and it has like a minute's cooldown before it attacks again.
Oh,
so they're like, okay, we'll jump in a little boat and sail for shore so the Kraken doesn't notice us. Elizabeth ties Jack to the mast of the Black Pearl.
Yep, this is the piece I remembered.
And yeah, then Jack's like, fuck. Oh well. Breaks away from the mast. And then just walks into the mouth of the Kraken with his sword drawn.
Yeah. Fucking G way to go down.
Yeah. Then they go to the Lady of the Swamp, whatever her name is. Well, I'm not going to say her real name because it gives away the third film. But Lady of the Swamp is like, if you want to save him, you'll have to go to the ends of the earth.
And that's what the third movie is called.
Yep. And then Barbossa appears with his monkey. And that's the big cliffhanger that it drops on.
Yeah. Well,
the other thing, I really like it.
The other thing is with Jack walking into the Kraken. Like that, I remembered that part about him standing on the ship, and I actually thought that's where the film ended. I'd completely forgotten about Barbossa showing up at the end.
Well, yeah, it's the most significant point near the end is him walking into the Kraken.
Yeah.
It's maybe even better than the first Pirates of the Caribbean film.
Yeah.
Certainly for a sequel, because sequels are always not as good as the original. Considering that it's on par, I think that's quite impressive.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, and maybe I'll watch it again, because I still haven't canceled my Disney Plus subscription. I can probably give you a plot-for-plot description of the first movie. The second one, like, I just have vague recollections of a couple things that happened in it.
The problem with the second one is that the second and third, because they're essentially one,
they kind
of blend together, and so it's kind of hard to remember sequence of events.
Yeah, it's one 2-part movie. I honestly, that wheel scene that you were talking about, I could have sworn that happened in the third movie.
Right, yeah, no. It's because they're fighting over the chest, but then they leave the chest there to fight each other. Some other people run off with the chest, and so now they're fighting over the key that Will has.
And they have the big sword fight inside the hamster wheel as they're going down. And yeah, I remember it. I don't know.
It was right.
I find as I get older, my interest in overly long action scenes gets less and less.
I feel like you watch Pirates of the Caribbean for the comedy moments, though.
Yeah.
Specifically the Captain Jack.
Exactly. Actually, I was about to say.
Some of the other pirates are quite funny.
Yeah. But no, the whole draw for Pirates of the Caribbean was literally Jack Sparrow.
Yeah. I do actually think that Barbossa is a fucking badass. I love his style.
Yeah. Well, especially in the first movie, I loved the dynamic between him and Jack. Like, the scenes they were in together. Because you get there's clearly some history there.
Yeah, it was kind of like Barbossa was his stepfather, almost.
Yeah.
Jack was like that disappointing son that he didn't really want around. Yeah. And Jack was a bit like, oh, fuck you, Dad. You took my ship and my people from me.
Well, that's the thing. You had this great dynamic between them because Barbossa had, like, this ferocity and gravitas, whereas Jack had this... cleverness and charisma. And so the two of them played off very well against each other, I thought.
I never got, though, why the undead monkey, right, is still undead, whereas all the rest of the crew are not undead anymore. They're just living. Because the Jack spends whole of the second film, like, shooting the undead monkey as a stress relief.
Huh.
Yeah, all the others, as far as I'm aware, fully human.
Did the monkey... Maybe the monkey stole an extra coin or something? I don't know. Weird.
Maybe. I think they just put that in there as
just a gag.
It's a fun thing, though, yeah.
It's not explained properly.
Yeah, it's not like you can make the monkey OP. But yeah. There you go.
The monkey. The monkey named Jack as well.
I called him Jack.
He's like, no, we named the monkey Jack.
God, that fuck, I love Barbossa's comedy.
Yeah. All right, let's end that there. We've got a new game coming up for Segment 3, so look forward to that. But this is going to be the end of Segment 2 of the TMCJ podcast. Thank you all for listening, and you will hear us again momentarily for Segment 3. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We're on Segment 3, our wild card, and this week Blue has a new game for us to play. Something he's had in the works, in the back of his mind for the last couple weeks, but we've had other things to do in Segment 3. So, what is it?
Well, so, again, as I said in the first segment, yes, this is another figment of being on the bus with too much time on my hands. And I was like, hey, this might be a fun idea. Rules are very simple. I will give you 2 words.
Okay.
And you need to tell me what the similarity is between them.
Okay.
If you guess correctly, you get 1 point.
What if I get some kind of a non-conventional answer that...
If it's an answer that applies, but isn't the answer I've got written down, I will let you guess again.
Okay.
If you want, you can ask for a third word. But if you ask for a third word, you will not get a point. If at any point you get a question wrong, you get -1 point.
Okay. So I need to be net positive to actually score it all.
Yes, but if in order to not incur a penalty, you can go for a third and try and get, because you don't lose any more points for getting a third part, but you won't get any points if you have the third part. Okay.
If I get one that you agree is correct, but isn't the one you have written down, and my second guess is wrong, can I not lose a point, or do I still lose a point in that case?
I'm afraid you'd still lose a point.
Okay. Alright, I got
it depends. If you have a really good fucking answer, and I'm like, you know what, you're fucking right.
Yeah, judge's
it's
discretion.
Down to my discretion. Yeah,
judge's discretion. Alright. Do you have a name, a clever name for this one, or?
Well, I was thinking, so obviously you know the game of Spot the Difference, but this would be the direct opposite of that, so it'd be Spot the Similarity. But it's not quite as catchy, but it also kind of works.
We'll think of something. Alright, let's hear it. Words.
Okay, number 1. By the way, it's a very eclectic mix, okay? Also, most of it's nerdy, but some of it is more weird than others, alright? Just throwing that out there now.
I'm ready.
Okay. First 2 words. Ursaring and Moneybags. What is the connection?
So Ursaring is a Pokemon.
Correct.
I don't think it knows the move Payday.
I didn't know Payday was a move, to be honest.
Yeah, Payday's it's a Pokemon move. Meowth knows it. And if it uses it on an enemy Pokemon, you get money at the end of the battle. Fun little factoid. I don't know. Is there a... I'm going to lose a point right off the bat. Oh, give me a third word. Yeah.
Okay, third word. So you're going to get no points if you get it correct, but you won't lose one if you do get it correct. The third word is Kuma.
Huh.
Does that help?
No, it doesn't at all. I'm completely stumped. Okay. I was actually hoping I would open up a little bit stronger than this. I'm quite proud of my vocabulary.
That's fine. I mean, you'll only lose 1 point still.
Okay.
Even though.
Well, I'm still going to take a guess. The thing that they have in common is they're all nocturnal.
Okay. The correct answer. This, if you got this at home, you've probably played quite a lot of old games. And it is the Ursaring. What kind of Pokemon is Ursaring, Kaiser?
It's a bear.
What kind of character is Kuma from Tekken?
A bear.
And Moneybags from Spyro is a bear.
Moneybags from who?
From Spyro. Spyro the Dragon?
I'd never played Spyro. That was the disconnect. I was thinking, like, it's a bear.
I thought you'd get it with Kuma, because I thought you'd have played Tekken enough.
I have,
because you watched Donkey as well.
I do, yeah. So I got the fact that, okay, bear, but what do bears have to do with Moneybags?
Yeah, no, Mr. Moneybags. He's like a
I was thinking
scammy trader.
All right, so I'm all right, -1. I'm just gonna
-1.
I'm gonna make one column for the negatives and one column for the positives, and then I'll just add them up at the end.
All right.
I was trying to think of like maybe like does he evolve from a raccoon or something like that, and they look like bandits, they steal money bags or something. I don't know. All right, go on.
He doesn't evolve from a raccoon.
He doesn't. That's why I didn't say that answer.
Oh, okay. Right. So, second one. Your 2 words are Morgana and Arthas. I will say, I think this quiz is quite hard. But I think it's about... Because last thing I gave you, I think you fucking flew through it. The one with Raymond and you got like every single question right. So I think this is about time. So yes, Morgana and Arthas.
I mean, they're both MOBA characters. Morgana's a mage from League of Legends, and Arthas is a...
I will specify that I mean the Morgana from English history.
Oh. Okay. That's different then. Yeah, because she comes from the Arthurian legends.
Also, my understanding of her comes from the Merlin TV show.
From the what show?
The Merlin TV show. It was a BBC series.
So I'm gonna say that it has something to do because I know Arthas. So they're both kind of antagonistic characters, But I know that Arthas is a character that was like good and was corrupted in the pursuit of something like that. And I'm going to say that that's the similarity between them. Is I think Morgana went through a similar thing where she was ostensibly like a good character and then was kind of corrupted and became evil. So I'm going to go with that. Is that right?
Fucking nailed it. I'm amazed. I thought that was a tough one, but no, you fucking nailed it.
It was a tough one. Well, it actually worked out that you... Thank you for the hint that it was actually the historical one, because I know a lot about...
that was only fair, because if you... Yeah.
I know...
Go on.
I know a lot about, well, I mean, history, and mythology in particular, so...
The third part of that would have been Darth Vader.
Oh, yeah, which, again, good and corrupted. That would have given it away pretty solidly, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I feel better now. All right, next one.
You're on net zero. Okay. 2 words. Apple and light.
Oh, Death Note.
Fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
So fast.
So, for the people who don't get this, the main character in the anime Death Note is Yagami Light, and apples are the favored food of the Shinigami, or death gods, that follows Light around throughout the series.
Yep. I thought, because apple and light are very generic words, I was hoping you might have thought apple products, maybe, and light being like a light version of something.
That would have been a good one, but I think it's because...
because we're such fucking nerds that's the first thing we think about.
It's also because I actually, like, a month ago, rewatched, like, the first 10 episodes of Death Note. And so it's relatively fresh in my mind.
The third part would have been diary, and you would have absolutely...
Oh, yeah, then it would have become obvious.
Okay. Tuffy up next. Bummy, the 2 parts. Halo.
Mm-hmm.
And The Lion King.
the word that what popped into my head was the circle of life. It's like all the rings. That's not my answer, but that was the first thing that popped into my head. Hold on, let me think about this for a second. Yeah. Halo and the Lion King.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be something like really eclectic, like I'm supposed to associate the lion with the guy from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and the fact that he's Jesus, and that has something to do with a halo, right?
No, not that eclectic.
Okay, yeah, but just so you know the kind of crazy connect the dots that my brain does, that actually legitimately popped into my head as a potential solution.
I mean, like I said, it is a toughie, I think.
I'm going to say it has something to do with...
You can ask for a third part, remember?
Yeah, give me a third one. My guess was going to have something to do with the backstory of Simba getting, like, kicked off the rock and Master Chief being out on the outs, but...
Okay.
What is it?
The third part is Zoo.
I mean, Halo 3 takes place in Africa. And that,
is Africa a zoo, Kaiser?
No, but a lot of zoo animals, like the ones people go to see, they come from Africa. Like rhinos and hippos and elephants and giraffes. All the cool animals come from Africa. Except for capybaras. They come from South America. No, I'm going to say zoo. I'm really confused by this one. I'm really curious how you're connecting these together.
It's a toughie. If anyone else got that out there, I will be very surprised.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm gonna. Okay, I'm gonna take a shot in the dark.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say it's because it's like a it's like a self-contained thing. Like Halo's, it's all taking place in the ring. Lion King, it's all taking place around Pride Rock, and a zoo, you're all trapped inside the zoo. It's all self-contained ecosystems.
Shall I put you out of your misery?
Go for it.
You're gonna fucking hate this. The connection is warthogs. Pumbaa, the warthog from Halo, and the zoo.
I can't even be mad at that one. That was good. I like that. Oh my god.
Man, there you go. Okay, so that's back to even again. The next one. First two parts. Bolts and bells.
Warhammer?
Is that your answer?
What?
Is that your answer?
No. Let me just think of bolt and bells.
Bolts and bells.
Yeah, the reason I'm thinking about that is Warhammer pops up because of the bolt gun, and then they're like a religious thing, so there's bells and stuff. Yeah, I'll just go with that, Warhammer. I'm not confident in this one. Oh, actually, you know what? Fuck it. Give me a third one.
Okay. Bolts, bells, and bullets.
God, now I actually liked my first answer really good. Fuck it, I'll stick with Warhammer.
Okay, stick with Warhammer. The answer is they are all forms of game currencies.
Oh.
Bolts are from Ratchet and Clank, bells are from Animal Crossing, and bullets are from many games, such as Fallout. Wait, is Fallout actually? No, I'm
they use
thinking
caps.
of the Russian underground one.
Yeah, Metro. Fun factoid: it is still a law from like the 1800s or something like that. But in my home state, it is illegal to pay for anything with bullets.
Lovely.
It's illegal to do that anyway, but yes, it is a crime in my state to give someone bullets in exchange for something else.
I see. Right, the next one. You'll either get this one or you won't get this one, I feel like. Tiny and Cortex.
What, brainlet?
Looks like it's going to be a big old note for this one.
give me a third one.
Uka Uka. You definitely want to get
It's like a Banjo-Kazooie reference. Yeah, I'm at a loss on this one. I feel like this is a game that I haven't played or a TV show I haven't watched.
Okay, they are all villains from Crash Bandicoot. Neo Cortex, Tiny Tiger.
I even had I knew it was like one of those like rare games, like rare.
Yeah, when
games.
you said Banjo-Kazooie, I was like, I'm gonna shut up because he's quite close.
Yeah, it sounded like Crash Bandicoot. God, I was close. I was on the right track. It was a 90s video game character reference. I just had the wrong 90s video game.
Okay, right, next one.
Yeah.
Planes and Trainer. I'll be disappointed if you don't get this one.
Planes and Trainer. I'm thinking of unfortunately I'm thinking of Mass Effect now because one of the main characters' names is Trainer and you fly around in a ship, but that's not right. I think you're probably going to be disappointed in me then because I'm having a hard time with this one. I mean, is it a Pokemon thing? Like the HM Fly? That's what I'm thinking of when I'm thinking of Trainer.
How unoriginal do you think I am that I'd use Pokemon in 2 questions?
I don't know. Give me the third word.
Black hole.
Huh. Now I'm even more confused.
Really?
Yeah. It's not FTL. What's some space thing that we've done or talked about or watched.
Planes, Trainer, and Black Hole.
I feel like I'm going to be just, like, slapping myself when you tell me what this is, but, I don't know. Fuck. The Expanse?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
If I told you, and by the way, this is past the point of no return, if I just said Magic the Gathering...
Is there a card game that we've played recently?
Planes is a Magic the Gathering card. Black Hole is a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
So just they're all trading card games. Yeah, Black Hole, Planes,
and Trainer is
a type of Pokemon card. Yep, I got it now. I just wasn't making the association. Yeah, they're all...
shame, Kaiser. Duncan will be angry.
First of all, Black Hole is banned in Yu-Gi-Oh.
And? It's still a trading card.
Yeah, it still exists. I'm just saying. Or is it Dark Hole that's banned? One of the others. I haven't played that card game.
Black Hole is, because it's... wait, is it actually called Dark Hole?
It might be called Dark Hole.
Oh.
I don't know.
That's how I remember it.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Number 8. Wolf and Harmonica.
Jesus. I suck at this.
To be fair, you fucking nailed the Morgana Arthas one.
It was a history question combined with a video game question.
And Death Note, you nailed that as well, but ever since then you've just been fucking up.
Yeah.
Wolf and Harmonica.
I feel like this is going to be a reference to some, like, grizzled military person. And for whatever reason, I'm thinking of...
You're going to love the third part of it, then, if you do ask for it.
Okay. I probably will have to. I'm thinking of Metal Gear Solid for some reason, but I don't know. Give me the third one.
The third part is you.
I mean... I played the harmonica when I was a kid. I play Wolf on Super Smash Brothers, and I am me.
I'm afraid I can't accept that as an answer.
You can't accept me?
I cannot
Why
accept
can't you accept me, Blue?
Get back in that cupboard.
Oh, God.
That closet.
Wolf, harmonica, and me.
Yep. I feel like there's another one where you're going to be fucking kicking yourself.
I probably will be, because this is actually, like, stumping me now. What else could these have to do? Like, harmonica? The harmonica was one of the items in that game we played last night. When I was playing as the captain.
Trauma?
Yeah,
I didn't know you had one.
Yeah, it's one of my optional things. If I didn't want a pipe, I could have taken a harmonica. Alright, what is it?
You're gonna really fucking hate yourself. Matt from Digimon.
Oh.
The wolf being Garurumon.
Yeah, and he played the harmonica, and... Yep.
He's called Matt.
Yep. Yep.
Bam. Okay. Number 9.
Yeah.
Nice and easy one.
Good, I need an
Russian.
easy one. Yeah.
And Inferno. Oh, come on, man.
Is it? Well, no, hold on. My first, my first instinct was to say Molotov Cocktail, but I'm thinking you were going more for the whole like Rah Rah Rasputin song. Yeah. Okay.
What's your answer?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. That Russian disco song.
Okay, you don't want the third part.
I don't want the third part. I'm just gonna go for... I need a point.
Okay. You're wrong.
Okay.
The third part would have been Dust.
Okay.
Inferno and Dust are both CS:GO maps, predominantly played by Russians.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, this is where my mind went to. I was like, Russian, okay, and then Inferno, and my mind went Disco Inferno, and then I remembered the music video for Raw Rasputin, and I was like, okay.
You went down a wrong rabbit hole.
This is the tricky thing about this. Like, the way that my brain works is like, you give me two concepts, and I'll just like go through like a connected dots game where you've taken all the numbers away and just draw something random. Like that's how my thinking process works.
I would say these are a bit more. The ones that I had were more cohesive than Molotov cocktails, personally. But I don't know.
Russian Inferno, vodka. That's how you make a Molotov cocktail.
What does Inferno and vodka have to do with each other?
It's how you make a Molotov cocktail.
If you'd said straight up just a Molotov cocktail, I might have said no, guess again. But
okay,
Rah Rasputin, definitely not.
Disco Inferno.
Number 10. Ramen and Fox.
Oh, Naruto.
Bam! Thank fuck.
We finally got one. I'm 2 for 2 on the anime ones.
Well, yeah. Well, is Digimon an anime?
I guess yeah. No, I'm okay. I'm 2 for 3.
Okay. A really tricky one now. Dinosaurs and fishing.
Well, I think we just talked about it earlier. Monster Hunter.
That's not the answer, but I'll let you guess again.
Okay. Dinosaurs and fishing. Well, you've already used Digimon.
Maybe this was a tough one, I thought.
I mean, it could be Animal Crossing. You look for fossils in that, and you also do a lot of fishing. Dinosaurs and fishing. I'll go with that. Animal Crossing.
You sure you don't want the third part?
Fine. Give me the third part.
Book.
Oh. We're talking about Dino Pimp.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah. We're talking about the Dino erotica that we talked about on the podcast before, right?
Incorrect.
Wait, really? What are we talking about?
Dinosaur Pimp was about tacos.
Oh, come
Ravished
on.
by the Triceratops was the dinosaur fishing.
I knew it was one of them.
So I'll say only minus half a point if you want for that one, because you just got the wrong book, but you get the general area of it. Okay.
I thought Monster Hunter was a really good one.
It was a guess, and it was a good guess, and that's why I said you can guess again. Number 12.
Yeah.
Hot water and games.
Keep talking and no one explodes.
This is more of a lateral thinking one.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why I guess keep talking and no one explodes, because it's a game and you're in hot water.
Okay, that's your guess?
No, it isn't. It's a fucking terrible guess. Hot water and... You know what? Fuck it. That is my guess.
Incorrect.
What was it?
Steam.
Oh. I was...
Hot water and games.
I was thinking a little bit too metaphorical there.
That's why I gave the clue of more lateral thinking.
Well, I thought I was thinking very laterally. That's very literally.
I guess. Number 13.
Yeah.
Sea creature and games.
Call it Cthulhu?
I'll let you guess again.
Well, it could be the thing we just played, the Barrow Trauma, or it could be We Need to Go Deeper, or Subnautica.
I'll let you guess again.
Okay. Got it.
Granted, when I wrote this, we hadn't been playing Barrow Trauma.
I'm just thinking, sea creature in games, there's, like, a pretty tremendous amount of things I could guess with that.
I feel like I should give you an extra bonus, because you're right, there is too much. You fill there.
Okay. Sorry, let's see, what other games could we possibly have associated with sea creature in games? To an extent, Mass Effect Andromeda. There's a planet that has sea creatures on it. Actually, Mass Effect 3. There are sea creatures that are a major plot in one of the DLCs.
The sea creature has 8 arms.
An octopus. Octopath Traveler. Wait, no. God, what game have we played with an octopus?
I think you need to go down a different rabbit hole, and that's the last clue I will give.
Well, I've already guessed Cthulhu. Sea creature in games, and it's not any of those.
Do you want to go for the third part?
I might as well. Yeah.
Media.
Oh my god. First of all, a squid has 10 arms.
No, it has 8.
What? No, it doesn't. A squid has 10. An octopus has 8.
Hang on. Has 2 eyes, a beak, 8 arms, and 2 feeding tentacles.
It has 10 tentacles. Alright.
Tentacles.
Just because... Yeah, exactly. Tentacles. No, just because... like some
I just looked it up and it says 8 arms, alright?
Ever since I was a kid, they taught it as 10. Just because some new scientist decides it only has 8 now and the other 2 are called something different, it still has 10. Just because some jackass tells me Pluto's too small to be a planet doesn't mean it's not 9 planets. So fuck off, science.
Do you really think you would have got it based on that?
Yes.
Bullshit, no.
It's a squid! But I got it
anyway. You're not losing a point because you got it, alright? But, like...
I did get it, but... So
okay.
you said 8, and I'm like, okay, so it has to be an octopus. Like, immediately Squid went out of my mind. It couldn't be a kraken, couldn't be a squid, it has to be an octopus, because he said 8.
Just giving you the cold, hard Google facts here. And that was a bonus, like, that was me helping you out, anyway.
I know it was. That one's a net 0.
Okay. Number 14.
Yeah.
Ghosts and Theatre.
Phantom of the Opera.
Fucking bam. See, some of them I think, man, these are super easy, he's gonna fucking nail this, and he doesn't get them. And then other ones where I'm like, he's never gonna get this. I feel like that comes up quite a lot in our quizzes.
Yeah.
This happens.
It happens the other way around, too, where I'll ask you questions I think are quite easy, and you don't get them, like, you struggle with them, and then I'll ask you questions, I'm like, oh, he's gonna have trouble with this, and then...
Yeah. Alright, and the final question.
Alright. See how negative exactly I will be.
Tree and calendar.
Tree and what?
Calendar.
Calendar. Oh, Christmas.
Bam. There we go.
Yeah. I thought you maybe were like being
it.
a little bit more clever and it was going to be like Advent Calendar or something like that.
I was ending it on a fun one because we're coming up to it.
That's why I appreciate that. So I only am negative 3.5.
Okay.
I had 8.5 negative points and 5 positive points.
Yeah, you started off pretty well. You had a negative part at the beginning, then you pulled it back a little bit at the end.
Yeah, I was 1 for 1 for the first 5 or 6 questions, and then I just tanked.
Yep.
Oh my god. I did have a lot of fun with that, though. I like the concept.
Thank you. Yes, it does get a bit like when the more abstract ones, it's kind of like...
What it does also come down to a bit of, like, psychology. Like, I'm trying to think of what you would associate those two words with. Because obviously, it became obvious that some of the things that you thought of as obvious associations, my brain just went in a completely different direction.
I think that's a good name for it, actually. Obvious associations.
Oh, hey. There we go. We have the name. This is the first obvious associations game.
Boom.
All right. And with that,
hopefully people at home got better than Kaiser.
Yeah. It wouldn't be hard, actually.
I feel like my favourite one... Actually, I got two favourite ones. Either Morgana and Arthas.
I did like that one.
That was a good one.
I really liked that one, too.
Or the Halo and the Lion King one.
Even though I got that one wrong, once you told me, I loved it. I loved the association.
Now you'll think of Pumbaa every time you get in a vehicle in Halo. And then the classic meme from Red vs. Blue. It's not called the Warthog, it's called a Puma. Which also would have fit most of those things, a Pumbaa.
No, Puma. Anyway.
Yeah, I know, but...
Alright. Well, hopefully you enjoyed. That is going to be the end of episode 72 of the TMCJ podcast. Next week will be our Christmas episode, so look forward to that, and see you next week.